Welcome back to Mini Motley Sanctuary in the depths of winter. If you're new here, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ruth.
And together we are a mother-daughter team running our little animal sanctuary in the heart of the Suffolk countryside. And it's been a gruelling winter so far.
It has been really tough going this year.
We've had every weather imaginable, from bright sunshine to gale force winds, frosty snow, ice.
And relentless rain.
The fields are so boggy, aren't they? Unbelievably boggy.
Yeah, it's just mud and more mud, and you just sink into the mud in your boots, and it's really hard to walk, and it's hard to move at speed. So if you're out in the fields and you need to get out of the way because Winnie's galloping towards us, then it's really hard to actually move from the spot that you're in, because your boot sinks really deeply into the gloopy mud, doesn't it? It's really hard going. Pushing the wheelbarrow is hard as well, isn't it? Because it sinks.
And because the fields are boggy, there's limited food for the animals. So we are sending out rounds of hay 3 times a day, which has increased our hay bill and skyrocketed the costs at the sanctuary to keep them all fed and warm in this wet weather when the grass isn't growing and the field has turned to sludge.
And at this time of year, we're also racing the light with sunrise at 7:45 and then sun setting at 4 p.m. It's not a big window of opportunity to get through all the chores that we need to do to keep the animals safe and warm and well fed. So that's another challenge. But that's this time of year, isn't it?
I know, that's what I'm filming. What are you eating?
I like those green ones.
Yeah, they are. Hay, I think they're eating hay off of this bank. Oh, it's the hay bar. You are hilarious. Look at you. Look at you. What have you been eating? Oh, Winnie's bowl. I thought, why has he got food around his mouth? And not only have we been battling the weather and been up against it with the light and the jobs that need doing, we've had little Diesel, our rescue American miniature, has been very, very poorly, and he's had to have very close monitoring, care, vet's visits and medications to see him through.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a mystery with Diesel, with the vet not entirely sure what's going on. She thinks he may have injured himself out in the field a couple of months ago, I think now, and laminitis. So we've been treating him in the way we always do for laminitis, which is to keep him stabled with a deep bed, anti-inflammatory meds and very, very low sugar diet. But he hasn't bounced back in the way that he normally does. So the vet's coming back out again to do some blood tests to see if there's any underlying condition that might make him more prone to laminitis or more prone to not recovering very quickly from laminitis, in which case there'll be a whole new regime to try and address that. So that's been really worrying and upsetting. We hate keeping him in a stable. We hate stabling any of the horses because obviously it goes slightly against their natural behaviours, but we've had to do it to try and help him get through this and bounce back again, haven't we?
Normally he lives out 24/7 in a herd, but in order to keep him happy during this period of stabling, which has been for most of January and parts of December as well, Mum, you came up with a whole regime of mental health games and enrichment to keep his mind preoccupied so that he wasn't going stir crazy at the gate.
We try and think of what can we do to keep him mentally stimulated to sort of compensate slightly from the fact that he's not out foraging and mixing and playing with the other animals. So we've got different food sources or like treats, but obviously the treats have to be really low sugar, low starch, no molasses. So he's had very unfortunately named swingers, which are compressed flavoured hay and made into a sort of bell shape, and then we hang those from the stable and he has to try and bite into them while they move about. So it's a bit of a mind game, a bit frustrating, but at the same time challenging. So that's been quite good. And they come in different flavours, carrot and apple, for example. And then his favourite thing, which are the grasser bix, which again is compressed flavoured hay. He likes the Heavenly Hedgerow best of all, but they come in all different sorts of flavours. And again, they're low starch, low sugar, and they go in a little tiny net next to his big hay net, and he can literally savage at them, and they move about, but not in such a dramatic way as the swingers. So that's a source where he can get at his favourite treat without too much hassle. So it's a bit of a balance. And then we bought them drip feed balls, which are actually sort of hexagonal. They might have more size than that, I'm not sure, but anyway, they are moulded plastic rolling balls, for want of a better word, with a hole in part of them that you can put treats into. So again, the low sugar, no sugar polos, a bit of low sugar chaff, and scatter different things, cucumber, celery, little treats that they are able to have. And they can roll the ball around either with their nose, or they can kick it with their hooves, and they move it around, and gradually as they move it and get it into a different angle, a treat will pop out or a little bit of chaff will come out. And they have all had these actually, because we couldn't give it just to Diesel because the others will then feel hard done by. So they've all had these to play with. We see Winnie out in the field kicking hers around. Wilson's been kicking his around the paddock. He's particularly keen on using his hooves. Diesel likes to roll his with his nose. So they're all things to try to just keep it a little bit more interesting, particularly while Diesel's shut in.
And Wilson, one of our other rescue horses, he's a Shetland Cross New Forest, and he's the size of a miniature. He keeps Diesel company outside of the stable because we never like to separate the herd when one has to stay in. So there'll always be one of the other horses outside so that they can talk over the gate and they can nuzzle each other, they can groom each other, or they can wind each other up, which is what they love to do. And when Diesel has a little bit of a leg stretch and goes to get some fresh air at the gate at the fence to see the sheep, Wilson likes to go in and dig up Diesel's stable and have a roll and probably scent mark in the shavings, have a poo in the corner of the stable, hammer his bowl with his hoof, turn it upside down, eat his treats, and generally demolish the space. And he loves to do that, which is also entertainment and enrichment for Wilson to keep him occupied while he has to stay in the restricted mud paddock, which is close to Diesel's isolation unit stable. And that keeps him interested and happy.
This is Wilson doing a fantastic demonstration as if he's actually advertising the value of adding these swinging treats to the stable. And he's got a really interesting technique. He's actually a bit more patient, I suppose, than Diesel. So he pushes at it, gets a little bit from it, and then he actually swings it and it goes round and round his nose. And he just persists.
He follows, doesn't he?
It. Yeah, he's really being a bit more mindful than Diesel, which actually is true of their personalities, I'd say.
Diesel's putting his head out across the fence to see what's happening. Bertie's trying to get the salt, but Winnie's coming up for scratches. So Bertie's wedged in with the salt lick. Diesel seems to love tasting all of the different salt lick stations, even if they're not his, and even though he's got a constant supply of salt in the stable. Because he's currently on box rest, but he's just come out to see what's happening across the sanctuary for his mental health, because he's got to be on permanent stable rest while he recovers. But it's good for him to come out and get some fresh air and have a roll in the mud. So that's one of his passions, to roll in the dirt, cover his eyelids, cover himself head to toe, and also come and see Winnie for some social interaction, and come out with Wilson too, who's his best mate, and come and wind up Bertie the sheep, which is also one of his other passions, to wind up the sheep. And we hate to ask, but we've had to this winter for the first time set up a Just Giving page with a winter survival fund for the vet's fees for Diesel, where we've had to have at least 3 vet visits out, and he'll have to have further investigations. Jim the sheep has been poorly and had to have injections and anti-inflammatories and painkillers and hoof treatment from the vet. And then also we've had to have more hay deliveries because of the boggy, muddy, swampy fields and the limited grass and the persistent hay rounds that we've had to do morning, noon and night just to get them through. And we're really struggling, and we haven't asked before, but we need to, in order to get the sanctuary through the winter. We've needed to set up a Just Giving page, which if you can help us share, help spread the word and get us closer to our target, we would so appreciate it. And we'll pop the link in the description below if you want to take a look, if you want to share, or if you can help us get closer to our goal. We would be so grateful.
We really would, and thank you so much to everybody who's donated so far. It's really hard to express how overwhelmed we are by the support that we've had and how much we appreciate it. Everything, as everyone knows, in life costs more and more, seemingly nowadays. And the deep bedding that Diesel has to keep having replenished all the time costs a lot. And then all these enhancements that we've spoken about, which we feel are important to quality of life for the animals when they have to be in their little hospital stables, again, are expensive and actually becoming really hard to source. Our local places that we usually buy the Grassabix treats and the swinging treats, they've all seemed to run out of stock recently and be putting up their prices when they do get stock back in. And even online, things are really costing more and more. So we have really struggled because they're not things that we would normally have to buy on a regular basis. But as I say, we both, Anna and I, feel that they're important for the mental health of our animals. So they're all extras, and extras are things that we don't have money sitting there waiting to buy. So we don't like to ask, as Anna says, but we've had to this time. And thank you to everyone that who has donated so far.
We are so thankful, and with regular vet visits as well, it just becomes so difficult. So a huge thank you, and please help us reach our target if you can. It means the world to us.
And everyone probably appreciates, but with vet visits, it's quite frustrating sometimes, because even if they've been out before and it's really just a checkup, they still charge for an examination, for a call out every single time on top of any medication. So again, all these visits that we've had to have cost a lot more than they really arguably should have done, because a lot of the time you really just need the medication. But there you go, that's what we're all dealing with, really, isn't it?
And Diesel isn't out of the woods yet. No. He's not healed, he hasn't recovered, and he's got further investigations and blood tests, which is going to cost even more. So that's the reason why we've set up our Just Giving page. And in case you have just stumbled across us, we do have an online gift shop too, where we make unique handmade gifts and decorations using the fleece from our rescue sheep. And at this time of year, we love to spread a little joy and make these handcrafted, hand-sculpted love yous made from our own rescue flock's fleece. And they're a lovely little gift. We wrap them for free for no extra charge with artisan ribbons and ties and biodegradable bags, and they're a lovely little something to gift to a friend who's been poorly, or someone in your life who needs a lift and needs a boost, or a Valentine's Day gift if you celebrate at this time of year. So we'd love it if you wanted to pop along and look at our online shop, because every sale helps our animal sanctuary, and we'll pop the link in our description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to find more videos, rescue stories and exclusive updates, please do come along and join us on Patreon. Our amazing patrons help the survival of the sanctuary, and we couldn't do it without you. We would really struggle.
Thank you so much.
Please like, subscribe and share this video if you enjoyed, and take a look at our online shop and Just Giving page if you wouldn't mind. We really appreciate your support, your kindness and generosity. We've had some amazing messages come through, which has really been such an uplift and a boost to us as well. So thank you for all of the lovely messages and comments that you've sent through on our Just Giving page. And we will see you next week for another video out in the frost. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you for biting my finger. I was biting my rings.